Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast, brought to you by DirecTV, 1-800-259-7646. Also brought to you by RVWheelator.com. If you're buying an RV or selling an RV, check out RVWheelator.com and the Dollar Shave Club. Here's John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show. Hey, baby, how you doing?
Oh, I'm okay. How are you?
Well, I'm better than okay because it's Tuesday. We've got Tuesdays with Charlie coming up later. Always love talking to your dad. He's a hoot. Tomorrow is Veterans Day, and we've got a special guest for Veterans Day tomorrow. I'm really excited to visit with a guy named Al Mag with a group called VetTix, and it's vettix.org. And what they do is they work with veterans to get them tickets to different events that maybe they had some leftover tickets. Some things are even like the Super Bowl, big stuff and little stuff. It's a neat deal. So I'm looking forward to that tomorrow. But I want to ask you if you know what groking is. Have you ever heard of somebody groking?
I have not.
I groke you all the time.
I've heard of groping.
No, it's
and
not
you
that.
do that too.
I do. But groking is the act of watching people eat food, hoping they'll offer you some. I'm like, hey, that looks pretty good.
You do that too.
Those the French fries.
That's
there?
why I eat candy bars in the closet in the dark.
The French fries. You got any ketchup for your fries there? Any at all? A little bit. All right, coming up, we got some other stuff on the way on the John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. Get razors for $1 a month plus a few bucks shipping, so you can enjoy fresh razors every month for as little as $3. Learn more at dollarshaveclub.com/radio.
This is an interesting story. An incinerator, you know what that is, right?
Yes.
Thing you put things in to burn them up?
Yes.
An incinerator caught fire at the University of Texas in Galveston. Authorities are looking into the cause of the blaze. I don't know.
You wouldn't think that would be a problem.
The incinerator.
It starts on fire all the time.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me.
Huh.
The DMV may soon be looking at you in their crime cases. The FBI has launched a project started in North Carolina using state driver's license photos and facial recognition technology to track down crime suspects. So before, all they had to go on was, they would look up the people who have criminal photos. What do they call those? Mugshots. Now they're saying, you know what? We got access to all of these other pictures. Let's start using those. So your
I would think
DMV,
that would be an invasion of privacy.
Oh, not necessarily. No, it's. I think it's an interesting idea. So we'll see where that all goes. But that's all on the way in the near future. Starting it out in North Carolina and coming to a driver's license near you. Stick around. We got some more fun stuff on the John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by RVWheelator.com. If you want to buy or sell an RV, go to RVWheelator.com. List your RV for free. Learn more at RVWheelator.com.
You know it's true because you heard it on the radio. Have you ever lost your phone or like a handheld computer or maybe even a child? Chances are you might have left them in the back of a London cab. If you own a cell phone, you've likely misplaced it at least once or twice. This is the kind of thing that, for whatever reason, is plaguing British folk. 62,000 mobile phones, or nearly 3 for each taxi, were left behind since January.
Wow.
Yeah, cabbies also find 2,900 laptops.
Whoa.
1,300 handheld computers. These were all sitting in the backseat of the cab. Only half of the lost phones were ever claimed. Many of the owners betting their operating service would just replace the lost phone with a new one. Maybe a better telephone. Why? Because many mobile phone operating companies would rather give out a new handset than see their clients go to a rival service. So, among the other strange things found in the back of a London cab, a goldfish in a water-filled bag,
Aww.
a suitcase full of diamonds,
Whoa.
$2,900 in cash, and at least one person left behind their daughter.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, that's a bad deal. Don't do that, Mom or Dad. It doesn't say. It just says a person. Do you think it was a mom or a dad?
Most likely a dad.
I was thinking to say the same exact thing on the phone. All right, well, I'm at my appointment. Got to go. Get in and wait a minute. Where's my daughter? She's still in the cab. Oh, no. I didn't give her a fare for the next trip. So there you go. That's all stuff that was left in the back of taxi cabs in London. Now, I've never been in a London cab. Their cabs are different, aren't they? Aren't they black instead of yellow like they are in the States?
They're not yellow. I don't know
I
what
think
they
they're
look
black.
like.
I think that London cabs, for whatever reason. And then they got the red buses, like the double-decker buses.
Those are cool.
Yeah, that'd be kind of a fun thing. We'll have to go to London sometime.
I've been to London. I would love to go back
When
to
we go,
London.
make sure I don't leave anything in the back of the cab.
Okay.
All right. All I can tell you is we know all this stuff has really happened, and we know it's true because you heard it on the radio.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by the Keystone Treatment Center.
This is your brain, and this is your brain on drugs. We share silly stories here on the program, but addiction is no joke. If you or someone you know suffers with an addiction to drugs or alcohol, make today the day you seek help.
Call toll-free 844-204-1055.
That's a toll-free number. Again,
844-204-1055.
and this is your brain on drugs. Some days are bad. Some days are even worse. Just hasn't been a good year for Jeffrey Crook. Well, first of all, his name is Crook. That would be a bad way to be raised because, you know, you're automatically, people are thinking you're a crook because that's your last name. But first off, a tornado ripped through his Palm Bay, Florida neighborhood back in February. That's bad. But if it wasn't bad enough, the twister ripped off the roof of his mobile home. And that's still bad, but it's not bad enough because when his roof was gone, it exposed the authorities in the helicopters who were surveying damage to his elaborate marijuana-growing operation. Yeah, the equipment, the marijuana plants, street value of about $8,000. That was all confiscated, and Mr. Crook is now a crook, like his namesake, and he has been busted. So there you go. Sorry, Mr. Crook. That's not good. And that's a dude his brain was definitely on drugs.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Keystone Treatment Center. Addiction is no laughing matter. Call Keystone Treatment Center toll-free at 1-844-204-1055.
Heidi, we've got your moment of duh. Girl versus locomotive. Who do you think wins?
Girl.
Wrong. 54-year-old Deborah Thompson of Maryville, California, tried to wave down a train to stop it.
Yeah, they don't stop like that, lady.
As any normal person would expect, the train didn't stop. Instead, it knocked Deborah about 20 to 30 yards. Now, pause for a moment. For those of you that don't know how long a yard is,
That's quite a ways.
think of a yard stick. That's 3 feet. That's a yard. So this
quite
is
a ways.
40... No, it is 60 to 90 feet. So 20 to 30 yards would be 60 to 90 feet. That's a long distance. From her hospital bed, she gave a perfectly reasonable explanation that she was just, and I quote, being silly.
Yeah, that's... Yeah, she
told
definitely was being silly.
Stepped
she was
in front of
not
the train
silly.
and waved it, trying to stop. Hey, you need to stop. And that didn't work out so hot for her.
No.
So there you go. Don't do that. Girl versus locomotive. Locomotive wins every time. Coming up, we've got your scoop of the day. It's on the way.
The Scoop of the Day is brought to you by Wells Blue Bunny. If you want delicious ice cream, be sure to look for the Blue Bunny. Sure to have your favorite flavors. Learn more at bluebunny.com.
Now, your scoop of the day. You can add whale songs to the sounds of New York City. Cornell University researchers say they've captured the sounds of whales singing in the waters around New York City. That's kind of cool. The report, it's a first. They've recorded fin and humpback and North Atlantic right whales on the mics placed about 13 miles from the entrance of New York Harbor, just off the shores of Fire Island. The researchers hope to use the data to better protect the endangered animals. So this is pretty cool stuff. They didn't even know they were hanging out there, but they're like, hey, we got whales in that there water. So it makes sense. Tattoos are getting more and more popular. Everybody loves them except for maybe employers. The job market is recovering, but it's still a little shaky, and the people with visible tattoos are finding it harder and harder and harder to get hired, prompting them to reconsider their body art. The Patient's Guide, it's a website comprised of 25 niche publications. They have dedicated, one on there dedicated to skin care, another for laser tattoo removal. Anyway, they've increased 32% over the last year in these areas, the skin care and tattoo removal have. Many cite employees as the main reason for the treatment. So why are you having this done? Well, I want a job. And kind of hard to get a job with this tattoo on my forehead. So I'm going to have to get rid of that.
Absolutely. That's why all of mine are hidden.
Yeah, mine too. You know, you don't want to have those out where you have to explain them sometime. That's not good. So there you go. Tattoos, good. Just put them in the right place. Decades of studies show the long-term cost benefits of dollar coins over paper money. But guess who hasn't switched yet? Us, United States. We still keep printing the dollar bills instead of
I
dollar
like
coins.
the dollar bill.
I do too, but you know what? I got no problem with dollar coins. As a matter of fact, when I get a dollar coin, I don't spend it as quickly. I've noticed that.
I don't have a problem with dollar coins, but I don't prefer them. I prefer
have
the paper.
a Susan B. Anthony coin right
Only
now.
because it's the only kind of cash I ever have is one. So I kind of like.
It's hard to make it rain with a fistful of change without being rude. There you go. There's your money.
And if you think about strippers, it would put an entire industry
come
out
on.
of business.
No, come on. Let's not even go there. For decades, health officials have battled malaria with insecticides, bed nets, and drugs. Now, scientists say there may be a potent new tool in the fight for deadly mosquito-borne illnesses, the stench of human feet. Yeah. In a lab, researchers found mosquitoes infected with tropical disease were more attracted to human odors from dirty socks than those that didn't carry malaria. It says here, insects carrying malaria parasites were 3 times more likely to be drawn to the stinky stockings, which is just bizarre to me because I don't think I smell all that good. Mosquitoes don't like me at all. They steer clear of me. They love you, and I don't think you stink at all. So they're saying that they're attracted to the smell of stinky feet.
I don't have stinky feet.
I know you don't. Oklahoma City police say a 23-year-old man drove his car into an oncoming patrol car driven by Captain J.D. Reed, and he didn't move until Reed swerved out of the way. Reed then chased the car until it crashed. They found out the car, inside there was another person that was 22 years old. He was lying outside of the vehicle. Third man was found hiding behind a traffic sign. 2 of the men were hospitalized. The 3 were treated and taken to jail. So they're playing chicken with a police car, and then the policeman swerved, and then they got chased down and smashed into a tree. That's just not a smart thing to do, period. One final story here. Sitka, Alaska's David Mulligan was released from jail at 7 a.m. after serving 25 days for drunken driving. At 7:03, he was a wanted man once again. A man who lived a block away from the jail left his car running when he went back in the house. Well, turns out when this guy got out of jail, he jumped in that car and took off.
Oh, okay. Well, here I thought he went out and got schnockered again.
No.
That's a completely different crime. He hadn't learned that lesson yet.
Mulligan faces up to 5 years in prison now and a $50,000 fine if convicted of the felony theft. Yeah, so learn that lesson, my friend. And our strange law. In Maryland, it's illegal to play Randy Newman's Short People on the radio. So that is illegal in the state of Maryland and just stupid anywhere else. So I've never been a fan of that song. Maybe it's because I'm just not tall enough. All I can tell you is that's a strange law. And this has been your Scoop of the Day.
This portion of the program is brought to you by RoughToughKennels.com. Dog kennels and accessories sent to your front door wherever you live. Your dog deserves it. Learn more at RoughToughKennels.com.
And it's time right now for one of my favorite things we do all week long. We reach out to my father-in-law. We call him, and he answers because he's a nice guy. And it's something we do every week just because we can. It's called Tuesdays with Charlie. How you doing, Charlie?
Hey, you got to stop these collect calls.
Well,
Not in the budget.
Such a nice guy. We figured we'd just, squeeze one in. So, well, what kind of stuff we going to learn about today, Charlie?
Hey, here's a cute little story.
All right.
This couple is what I call really, really intelligent.
Oh.
The Chicago couple won $30 million in the state lottery and did not tell anyone, even their kids.
That's a good idea.
I wouldn't do that. I would do the same thing. I wouldn't tell anyone.
I'd find out, though, and I'd track you down like a dog.
You probably would.
$30 million. That's a lot of dough.
I would take that.
Yeah.
Then I guess talking about money here, if you have no debt and $10 in your pocket, you have more wealth than 25% of all Americans.
That is
Yeah.
true.
I read that about a month and a half or 2 months ago.
Yep.
It's crazy, but it's true.
Unfortunately, I don't hit either category.
Yeah, me neither. I never carry that kind of cash. I'm just saying, what are you, Rockefellers or something?
Yeah, that's what you get rolled out there in the streets.
Exactly.
The last car to have a cassette deck comes standard. Do you know what it was?
Boy, I bet it would have been in the 90s, and it probably was a Lincoln.
Well, you're close. It was a Lexus, but it was 2010.
2010, no kidding.
Oh.
Still had a cassette deck come standard.
Wow, they had those a lot longer than I thought. I figured they were done with those in the 90s.
Well, there you go. See, that's why you listen to this show, because you learn something every time.
I'm going to need that info someday.
The world record for the fastest 1 mile run by a 5-year-old. You know how long it took them?
A 5-year-old to run a mile, let's say 25 minutes.
This kid would beat me 6 minutes, 33 seconds.
Oh.
That's a fast 5-year-old.
He's a little dude. I bet his legs are just a blur.
I'll bet. I was thinking how long it would take me. It'd take me at least 25 minutes.
Take me 3 days and probably a case of beer. Hey, the first ever commercial refrigerator was built in Australia
Really?
in 1856. You know why they built it?
Why'd they build it? To keep their beer cold.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, see, that guy was thinking, he's sitting there drinking warm beer,
He's like, there's got to be a
He's
better
a
way.
problem solver.
and he just sat down with a case of beer and thought this up and invented it, and what a nice guy.
There you go.
That is awesome.
Well, thank you so much.
Hey, I got one last thing here for you then.
All right, what's that?
I'm making sure I'm reading this right.
Oh, this ought to be good then.
Sucking a king's nipples was a gesture of submission in ancient Ireland.
Can't get much more submissive than that, so I think that's a lot more than a gesture.
Glad I was not a king. I mean, awkward. Downright awkward.
Hey, King, come here. I got something for you.
Please don't. Trust me, I understand. I get it. All right, Charlie, are you ready for a couple of questions?
You bet.
I got some true or false for you here.
All right, I like them.
Let's see how many of these you get right. True or false? Over 80% of professional boxers have suffered some sort of brain damage. True or false?
True.
True it is. You got one right. Next, the average person walks the equivalent of once around the world in their lifetime. True or false?
In their lifetime. Well, if they lived long enough, I'd say no.
You're right. False. You got two right. False is more like twice around the world. So we actually walk more than that. And our last question here that's true or false. Jeopardy host Alec Trebek won top honors in 7 spelling bees and 4 science fairs. True or false?
False.
It's true.
Ooh.
He actually is. At least at one point was smart. I always think it's funny. He's got all the answers. He's always so smirky when he's talking to them. Like, they'll have something they get wrong. He's like, no, sorry, it was Napoleon's cousin. You know, like, what? Like anybody knew that.
Hey, he can back himself up, though.
Yeah. So now I got a little more respect for old Alex Trebek.
I don't watch that show. I hate that show.
Okay.
Fuzzy-haired mustache guy.
Fluffy-haired mustache guy.
Oh, my goodness.
All right. 66% of Americans admit to reading in the bathroom. What is the preferred reading material of the majority of those people?
Well, I'm going to take a shot and say Playboy.
No, you were close. So Reader's Digest. It was a
How was that
magazine.
close?
It's a magazine.
That was not even close at all.
Hey, you read that for the articles too, right?
That's right. Well, that's all you read it for.
There you go. Exactly. See? All right. Well, Charlie, it's always a pleasure. We'll talk to you next week.
I'll be here.
Bye, Daddy.
Bye, Fluff. Bye, John.
Bye-bye. My father-in-law right there. We talk to him every Tuesday just because we can with a little program we like to call Tuesdays with Charlie.
This portion of the program is brought to you by CarsForSale.com. If you're in the market to buy a car, truck, or van, find thousands of vehicles to choose from at CarsForSale.com.
Today is a very special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
Thought you'd never ask. Today is Tuesday, November the 10th. Today is Area Code Day.
Ah.
So this is when they said, you know what? Let's make this thing really simple. Let's do area codes. Also, Marine Corps' birthday today. Happy birthday, Semper Fi. Also, Sesame Street Day today.
Aw.
Who's your favorite person on Sesame Street? Did we talk about this once already?
My favorite of all the characters would probably be Oscar.
Yeah,
I like Oscar a lot.
A couple weeks ago, we were talking about Cookie Day, and I was saying my favorite was Cookie Monster. Windows Day today for Microsoft, National Young Readers Day, and World Science Day for Peace and Development. So there you go. Got all that stuff going. How are you going to celebrate?
I probably won't.
I'm going to celebrate by having a cookie and thinking about Cookie Monster. And I'll eat it the way he does and make a big old mess. How's that sound? All right, coming up here in a bit, we've got something interesting. Want to be depressed and miserable? Well, we'll tell you how to do it. I don't know that anybody really wants, but we got this from a PhD, so you know it's going to be good stuff. It is Tuesday, the 10th day of November.
This portion of the program is brought to you by StoneGroupArchitects.com. It's more than a building. It's design and function working together. Check out the project portfolio at StoneGroupArchitects.com.
If you want to be depressed and miserable, take a listen to this. This is from Charles B. Beckert, Ph.D. He says, really concentrate on mistakes that you've made, especially mistakes you can't do anything about. So here's what I would take from this, folks. Do the opposite of all these things. Also, it says, always compare yourself to others. This works best when you compare your worst traits to their best traits. That'll make you miserable. When somebody else has a problem, be sure to make it your problem too. For added misery, you can also find some way to blame yourself for their problem. Next, spend as much time and energy as possible criticizing and judging yourself and everyone else. The longer the list of negatives about people, the better your misery. Again, for people who don't want to be happy, make sure you look at the bad side of everything. There's always something bad to be found in every situation. Next, be a perfectionist. Set goals that you could never achieve. Hole up in your room. What does that mean?
It means don't leave your room. Just
Shouldn't it
stay
be
in your
hold
room
up?
all by yourself.
Is it hole up, not hold
Hole
up?
up.
Really?
Hole up in your room.
That's a weird. I always thought it was hold up. Anyway, stay in your room. That's what Avoid friends and family, especially the people that love you. If you want to be depressed, another thing you can do is strive to please everybody all the time. Mm-hmm. Let your self-worth be decided by whether others like and accept what you're thinking about. Another way to make sure that you're miserable, base your worth as a person on how you look and what you have. Another way to be miserable, don't ever forgive yourself. Hold grudges against yourself. Avoid doing anything new or empowering. At all costs, avoid activities and people where you feel good about yourself. We're almost done with this stupid list. Make sure that your self-worth is based on whether or not you have a boyfriend or a girlfriend or a spouse or whatever. Next, find somebody. Says some people find that they are miserable at being miserable. If this is you, you might try doing absolutely the opposite of all the things that we just talked about, and then you might actually not be so miserable. So again,
you go.
The list of how to be miserable by Charles B. Beckert, Ph.D. So
There you
again,
go.
all those things I said, do the opposite, and then you'll be happy like we are. I'm happy.
I'm happy.
I'm not miserable. I got a fun story about somebody that might be. It's on the way.
This portion of the program is brought to you by DirecTV, 1-800-259-7646. Also brought to you by RVWheelator.com. If you're buying an RV or selling an RV, check out RVWheelator.com and the Dollar Shave Club. Here's John and Heidi.
Got a fun story here about a young lady named Gladys, and I'm thinking it's fun, but I bet she don't like it at all. It looked like she was winking, but she wasn't. The 43-year-old from New Jersey superglued one of her eyes shut.
Oh, no.
Unable to open her eye, she called the police. A rescue squad was sent out, and they took her to St. Clair's Hospital in Dover, New Jersey. She was treated and released. Doctors don't expect permanent damage. She said it happened when she went for eye drops, but grabbed the super glue
Oh, no.
and applied it and didn't realize that's what it was. Somebody swapped out her eye drops with super glue.
That's not nice.
No, that's not. That's terrible. So we talked a little bit ago about how to be miserable. Put that on the list. That would be a
Wow.
miserable thing to do. I could never wear contacts. I can't come even close to touching my eye. So this makes my eyes water even thinking about that. Coming up, we're going to talk about how to get the last word. That's on the way.
This portion of the program is brought to you by GunUp.com. If you're a gun lover, you'll be in heaven at GunUp.com. Built by experienced military veterans, shooting sports competitors, and publishing professionals. They have awesome stories and articles that are read by millions of gun enthusiasts. Check it out at GunUp.com.
Heidi, do you ever feel like you just need to get the last word?
All the time.
I know. Yeah, you do. There's one sure way to get the last word in an argument. Speak at their funeral. Pat Coben and her husband Ken always joked about who would always get the last word in their playful arguments. So when Ken passed away from an ongoing illness, Pat finally did get the last word. Pat decided to write an obituary that would be fun and typify their relationship. She wrote that behind his bullheaded exterior was a good man and listed all the things he enjoyed, like football and watching TV, and at one point listing food for every other word of things that he liked. Pat also said she planned to have Ken cremated with a TV in his hand, a TV remote in his hand. So she was just being, having fun and being silly. Some people apparently didn't like it, but you know what? I think that's the way it should be.
It's not your loved one, so
Yeah.
it doesn't matter.
If that's the way they were, and he probably would have found that hilarious. So there you go. When I go someday, Heidi, hopefully before you, I want you to make my obituary fun.
Okay.
Just make a bunch of stuff up that didn't even really happen in my life. Make me sound interesting. All right, coming up, we got 18 things successful people do the first 10 minutes of their workday. That's on the way.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. You can get razors sent to your door each month for just $1, plus a couple of bucks shipping. It's an amazing deal. Log on to dollarshaveclub.com/radio to learn more. That's dollarshaveclub.com/radio. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
Thank you so much for listening on a Tuesday. We appreciate you joining us. I have a list right here of the 18 things successful people do first 10 minutes of the workday. You ready for this?
Ready.
When they get to work, they 1. Reflect. 2. take a moment to pause and be present. 3, get comfortable. 4, organize their workspace area. 5, stretch, stand, and walk. 6, they review their to-do list and prioritize. 7, they visualize success. 8, they adjust and map out their day. 9, they don't try to multitask. I'm in trouble on all of these. 10, they anticipate distractions. 11, they say no. Again, this is a list of 18 things successful people do in the first 10
All
minutes.
things that you do not
of
do.
their workday. Yeah, so far I'm striking out here. What were we on there? 11 was they say no. Number 12, they block out negativity. 13, they take time to greet their team. Hey, there's one I do.
Yeah.
I spend the first 2 hours of my day doing it.
Greeting the team.
That was 13. 14, they take a temperature read of their staff and coworkers. I hope they don't use a rectal thermometer. Well, that's not what they mean. Just saying. It's going to make things awkward in the office. Number 15, they smile and laugh. 16, they take a moment to be grateful. 17, they think about how they can help each other and others. And number 18, they strategically check their email. So that's a list of 18 things successful people do in the first 10 minutes of their
I didn't
workday.
see Candy Crush on there once.
No, wasn't anywhere on there. Messing around on Facebook's not on there. Calling their friends to let them know what they're doing tonight's not on there. I am in so much trouble. MSN.com, you got it all wrong. I don't know what you're talking about. I'll make my own list of things successful people do. It's not going to look like this list. I don't think I could get up to 18. I don't do that much. All right, coming up, we do have some good news to share as we approach the end of our program. It's the John and Heidi Show on a Tuesday.
This portion of the program is brought to you by DirecTV. Call 1-800-259-7646. They have hundreds of channels to choose from, with many packages to fit your viewing desires. Learn more at 1-800-259-7646.
On each program, as we come to the end, we always try to find something positive to talk about. Some days it's tougher than others. It really is. But today, I got a pretty cool thing here. A college student is getting noticed for his invention. This is something my wife actually told me about 2 weeks ago, and I'm glad I finally got the story on this. It's an invention that this young man invented. His inspiration was his dad, an Iraqi war veteran, an Iraq war veteran. And since tomorrow is Veterans Day, I thought, what a great time to talk about this. He struggled with night terrors. According to the Military Times, senior Tyler Skulzak, I hope I'm saying that right, wanted to help his dad and others, and he got the chance. In September, he entered a computer program contest. In 36 hours, he and his team, The Cure, wrote code and created a smartwatch app. The goal of the app is to predict night terrors and then use the watch or an Android phone.
I think this is very cool.
It is, to disrupt that while still keeping them asleep. So the hope is to start clinical testing on this app in the spring. But I thought, what a cool thing. First of all, just a cool thing, period, for anybody. But for our veterans, those men and women who put their lives on the line and were literally on the front lines, and the things that they had to do and the things that they had to see, and now they're living with that for the rest of their lives. And they're having these night terrors. That would be hard. I remember being in a car accident once, and I had nightmares about that for a couple weeks. Nobody was even hurt.
Right.
But I just remember waking up thinking, the impact and all this stuff. I was like, wow, I can only imagine what they're going through. And this young man, Tyler, and again, I hope I'm saying it right, Skulzak, I think is what it is. That's what it looks like, came up with this idea because his dad is affected by this. And he invented this thing, he and his team, The Cure. Awesome idea, awesome thing. I'm going to have a link on our Facebook page, facebook.com/John and Heidi Show, because it's such a cool story. And as we're getting close to Veterans Day, I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that I let our veterans know how much I appreciate them. So be sure to join us tomorrow. We're going to be talking with Al Mag. He's a guy with Vet Ticks, and a really cool program they have. We're going to be talking to him, featuring what they do on tomorrow's program. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day. We'll talk to you again tomorrow.
Time now for the bonus break. Only available here on the John and Heidi Show podcast.
And the bonus break is brought to you by the Dollar Shave Club. You can get razors, and you can use those razors to shave your face or your legs or your arms or whatever it is that you shave. I don't want to know what you shave. I mean, seriously, don't send me pictures or anything. That's just yucky. But I can tell you this. You're going to be so darn happy that you're going to want to tell everybody about your razors. In my household, let me tell you what happens. I signed up for a subscription because I wanted to check this out. A friend told me about it. I was like, oh, I'm going to check this out. So I got the razors. I like the razors. I use the razors. All of a sudden, I can't find them anywhere. My son's using them. My daughter's using them. My wife's using them. When it's time for me to shave, so I got a second subscription. So I had 2 coming for a while. Then all of a sudden I had razors coming out my ears because you guys realized that, oh, Dad's got more in here. So I'm like, okay, I'm back down to just 1 subscription of razors. But it's a cool thing. For as little as $3 a month, they'll bring them right to you. You can do the $6 razors or you can do the $9 a month plan. That's the one I do because I love those. They're my favorite. Check it out at dollarshaveclub.com/radio. Are you getting older, Heidi?
Yes.
All right. Here's some signs that you might be getting older.
Second.
I'll tell you one of the
day.
signs. I don't even need to look at this list. We've been watching TV programs, and the shows that we watch, all of the commercials are for things for people that are way older than us. Like every show that we're watching, we're like, oh, there's a commercial for a walk-in bathtub. Like, Another commercial here for erectile dysfunction. I'm like,
yeah,
oh,
everything.
Do I have that? What is
yeah.
it? All this stuff in there. There's all these commercials.
But the shows that we're watching are awesome shows. They're great shows. They just happen to be from forever ago. Like the Munsters, the Addams Family. Best shows ever.
Quantum Leap. Love it. Anyway, here's some signs you might be getting older. You're getting old when you don't care where your spouse goes, just as long as you don't have to go.
We actually...
Heidi's like, well,
we've
I'm going
reached
out.
That
like,
point.
Okay, have fun. You're like, do you want to know where I'm going? I'm like, I don't care where you're going. Where are you going? I'm going out with some friends. I'm like, okay, you have fun.
And I'm
I'll
the
be
same
right
way with you. You're like, well, I'm leaving. Okay.
See you later.
Whatever.
Just call me on your way home so I can make sure to tell you what you need from the store. Another way to know if you're getting older. You get old when work is a lot less fun and fun is a lot more work.
That's true.
That's happened to us too. Statistics show that the age of 70, there are 5 women to every man. It's kind of a bad time for a guy to have those kind of odds, isn't it? So 5 women for every man at the age of 70. All right. You're getting old when it takes longer to rest than it does to get tired.
That's true.
I've had that happen too. All right. Middle age is when you stop growing at both ends and you've begun to only grow right in the middle.
Yeah, that's true too.
Have that going on. A man has reached middle age when he's cautioned to slow down by his doctor instead of the police. You know how long it's been since I've gotten a speeding ticket? I mean, it's been a long time.
Only because you don't get caught.
No, I don't speed as much. I used to speed a lot more. I don't do that hardly at all anymore because I realize that I'm not in that big of a hurry, really. All right, you know you're getting old when you stop buying green bananas. You're like, I don't know if I'm going to be around for these things to ripen anyway. Buy them when they're ready.
I buy green bananas.
When you lean over to pick something up off the floor and you ask yourself, is there really anything else that I need to do with that thing? Oh, no. Is there anything else I need to do while I'm down here? That's what they're saying. I was thinking they were saying just leave it because I've had that. I dropped something on the floor here earlier. There's a piece of popcorn down here. I was going to reach down and grab it. I'm like, I'll get that when I'm cleaning later. I'm really not going to go down there twice anyway. And the last thing on the list of things that show signs that you might be getting old. You find yourself in the middle of the stairway and you can't remember if you're going up or down. I've not done that, but I have this happen all the time. What kind of unique memory loss is this? Numerous times. I've gotten in the car. I've, hit the road, close the garage door, drive away, and then I have to call Heidi and say, where am I going again?
Yeah, what was I going to do?
Where was I going? And you're like, what? Where was I going? You're going to the store. Remember, you're going to get some milk? I'm like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
That has happened.
Milk. So I'm losing my mind. All right, a quick story here before we wrap things up. In Murfreesboro, Tennessee, 3 teenagers decided to make a little extra holiday cash, and they decided to make this cash, like as in
oh my gosh,
counterfeit. So here's some signs you might not be a very good counterfeiter. Well, they were caught by the waitress at Sonic Restaurant. She took down their license number and called the police. You know you don't have a future in counterfeiting when the FBI doesn't even get a call. The local police handle the matter, and they charge you with a misdemeanor because your counterfeiting was so terrible. They're like, seriously, you thought that was going to pass? Yeah. You know what? You guys can get a misdemeanor. We're not even going to call the FBI.
Goodness.
We're not going to do that because you're really nothing to worry about with these guys. All right. There you go. That's going to do it for... Okay, should I do one more? I got one more story because I got to share this story. Every day I have my little bonus break file. It just keeps getting fatter and fatter and fatter because I got stuff I want to share. One more story. I cannot believe this is true, but it is. In Washington, D.C., that right there should tell you everything you need to know.
Okay.
It's true. Firefighter Gerard Burton faced suspension for disobeying a direct order by a supervisor. Here's what he did. Again, he's a firefighter. He was driving his fire truck to a training class when he came across what? A building on fire. His supervisor ordered him to continue on to the class and leave the fire for some other crew. They've already been dispatched. Just leave it. He's like, you know what? No, I can't do that. I'm a firefighter. So he stopped. He fought the fire. He and his partners that were on the truck put the fire out with the help from the crew that arrived a little bit later. Limited the damage to only $150,000. Could have been a complete loss if they hadn't gotten on the scene when they did. And he's facing a suspension.
That's ridiculous.
For disobeying a direct order from his supervisor. You know who should be facing a suspension? The supervisor. In this case, we'll say supervisor, because that was a stupid thing to do. If you've got a fireman on the scene and you're saying...
And he was heading to training.
He
just got some hands-on training right there.
Like, you know what? Yeah, guys, stop and squirt some water on that hot thing. Do that. That's all the training you need right there. The thing that's glowing and hot, spray water towards that. Good luck. When you're done, go to your rest of your training. So I just think that's ridiculous that's even a story. But it could only happen in Washington, D.C. All right, that's going to do it for your bonus break. Brought to you by the Dollar Shave Club. Guess what? You can learn more. Where can you learn more, Heidi?
At dollarshaveclub.com/radio.
Wow, it's like you're a pro. dollarshaveclub.com/radio.